Okay, universe, I know I said that I would be starting a blog about getting healthy on my second channel, Lollujo Earth 2. If you haven't already subscribed to that, you probably should. I know I said I'd be starting that vlog on there on New Year's Day about me getting healthy. Did I mention that? But you didn't need to make me this ill and coffee and spluttery and nasty just to add it as a sales pitch. I'm already a fat, unhealthy man. That would have been enough of a hook. Ridiculous. On the upside, we do get to play my beloved Peterborough United in the FA Cup on today's video. Hello and welcome to Season 6, Part 6 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against the mighty POSH in the FA Cup and then away against Reading in the Championship. Apparently on yesterday's video I may have mentioned the Premier League. We're not there yet. In other news, I have the fancy studio arm thing for my microphone now, so in theory I should be able to bang the desk as much as I want, and that didn't come through. If that comes through, I'll know when I edit. Kev edits. You lot will know if it came through though, and you can let me know in the comments, and I'll set it up properly. I think it works so I can put my hands underneath my microphone now, which is a rather snazzy thing to be able to do, and I'm enjoying playing with it. But let's get into the Football Manager stuff. That's what we're all here for. Since you were last with me, it's all gone wrong. We did have a really good game against Burnley when we won 6-1. I mean, in fact, to be honest, it started quite well. But then it's all gone off the rails over the Christmas period. After a 6-1 win on Boxing Day, we've then gone on 3 straight defeats. The one positive in this run of terrible form is the emergence of Marc Priceau. Going to need any French subscribers to let me know how we say this guy's surname. He's one of the youngsters that we signed in the summer, 20 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, exploded onto the scene with a hat-trick in that Burnley game, and has now got 4 goals in 4 starts for us over the festive period, which is rather pleasant. So he's going to be sticking involved in the team for today's game, especially because him aside, we are having a little bit of an injury crisis and a little bit of a issue with form with all the other strikers that we've got at the club. So Jerome Sinclair, our top scorer so far this season, is now going to be out for a month. He's got a twisted ankle, so he's not going to be available today. Martel Taylor-Crossdale just can't get it going in the Championship. I'm hoping it's just another one of these needs a pre-season things and he'll be fine for us next year, because after his exploits last year it would be a shame for him to just disappear off back into the lower leagues. And Nicholas Schiavi's been injured, is now fit again-ish, but not fit. He's got 10 goals from 9 starts though, which is remarkably good for him. He's scored as many goals as Benteke on a third of the games, so we might have to give Schiavi a little run in the team at some point. But for today, Jack Marriott's getting the nod alongside Priceau, and that does not look like a Championship forward line. The rest of the team, we've got Miguel in goal, a back 4 of Tamelty, Howarth, Jackson and Fowler, with Cool, Steenvoorden and Zellalim in midfield, and Benteke in behind the aforementioned front 2. I'll get my apologies in right now as well if it keeps cutting around all over the place and if any coughs sneak through the edit. I am still poorly, hence the Eskimo outfit that I'm currently wearing. And I've developed a chesty cough now. So there will be regular breaks where I break, cough, and try and have some of this delicious medicine, which I don't know if I've ever mentioned to you lot before. Cough aside, I feel fine. But I obviously don't sound fine. So thank you very much for those of you who put kind words in the comments to yesterday's video to the extent of "get well soon, Kev." Oh, bless your cotton socks. And those of you who said "sort your life out, Kev. This is twice in 2 weeks you've been ill." Agreed. There's a plan for that, and you need to subscribe to my other channel to get involved in what the plan is. Martel Taylor-Crossdale's not playing because he's not proven he's a Championship player yet. Yeah, we're going to do well. We're struggling? Yeah, we've struggled. Yes, we're up for it. Free-flowing, attacking, etc., etc. POSH are obviously in the division below us, so you would think that this should be a game where we can try and recapture some form, get a bit of a confidence booster. I mean, we're still only, 2 weeks from a 6-1 win in the Championship, so confidence shouldn't be that destroyed, but we have lost 3 games on the bounce, and we need to make sure that rot doesn't start to set in, because as good as our start to the season has been, it could just as easily become a relegation scrap if we don't start to arrest the decline that we've been in recent games, especially because we've changed our promise for positional stuff with the board. I know there's a proper word for that. I can't remember what it is. But we were supposed to just battle bravely against relegation. We've now upgraded that to a straight avoid relegation. So now, if we get relegated, and in theory we shouldn't, but if we do now, they are now in a position to be able to sack me. Which, if we keep losing games, we're certainly not out of the woods yet. We're still only mid-table, and we're now 1-0 down against a team from the league below, thanks to a rather well-placed free kick from, it was literally on the edge of the penalty area. Poor place to give away a set piece. And that's even worse because we're now 2-0 down at home against a team who, last time I checked, was struggling in the league below us. I've mentioned a couple of times to people in the comments that they did actually sack the manager last season while we were running away with League One, and I was tempted to apply, but POSH were hovering around the relegation zone in League One at the time, so I kind of ignored it and pretended it wasn't happening. We seem to be in a bit of a reversal of fortune situation now, though, where Benteke has just signed a new 4-year deal on £10,000 a week, making him by far and away our highest paid player because he wanted to leave, and we nipped it in the bud straight away and threw money at him. He's not had a good game since he got the new contract, and he's only putting out a 5.7 against a lower league team. You know what, Jonathan? You're our captain. That's not good enough. We've got a Premier League player sat on the bench there, and there you go. We'll haul you off after 60 minutes, and hopefully that'll send the message home to you. You can't just rest on your laurels. There are still clubs in for you. If you're not going to perform, we'll just flog you. You're not always going to be here on this big money deal. Priso, whatever his name is, not having a good game. We'll give Schiavi that chance we talked about pre-game and move Marriott over to his preferred defensive forward position. I suppose this would have been the ideal game to get some time into Martel Taylor-Crossdale. He was obviously outstanding against this level of opposition last year, but a bit late now, isn't it? I've already made the substitution. Zelalin finds Schiavi into Marriott. We've got a goal back with 20 minutes to go. Jack Marriott gets his 7th of the season. That's obviously the new symbol for 7th. And we are in with a chance of rescuing something from this game that we absolutely don't deserve. We're in that stupid situation as well, again, where both teams are wearing blue shirts. Because apparently our shade of blue is really different from the shade of blue that other teams wear, which means everyone can wear blue whenever a blue team come to play us. Right, Tamelti's having a poor game and is on a yellow card. If there's one thing we know about Rob Tamelti, it's that he'll always get another one. So let's bring Tom Field on for the last 10 minutes. And it's not the most attacking positive change we could make. And I don't think it's going to be enough to get us back into this game. And we have been fairly harmless against a team that we should have beaten comfortably. And we've now lost 4 games on the bounce. Let's not panic yet. If we lose the next one, permission to panic granted. Right, a couple of changes for what is now a must-win game against Reading, who are hovering around in the relegation zone in the Championship. Tom Field comes in at left-back because, obviously, Rob Tamelti is suspended. And other than that, Taylor Crossdale is coming in up front because why not? Let's give him a chance to play himself back into form. Our starting strike partnership has 9 appearances between them so far this season, and we're halfway through January. The reason there's no transfer stuff to talk about, by the way, is because we've got no money. We're over the wage bill because of the new contract that we've given Benteke. We have no money to spend, so we're kind of going to have to make do with what we've got. We've sent Harry Hamlin back to Southampton because he wasn't getting anywhere near the squad. Yuka Letovara is fit again now, though, just nowhere close to match fit. So could start to provide some competition for Miguel in goal. So that might solve one of the problems, which is the goalkeeper is still not good enough. But the rest of the squad, we are very much going to have to make do with what we've got. And it is difficult to say after how good the last few seasons have been in this regard. But where we're really, really struggling is up front. Jerome Sinclair aside, we don't really have a championship quality striker at the club. Sinclair's out injured, and without him, we don't look like much of a goal threat. We need Taylor Crossdale to decide that today's the day he makes the step up and becomes a championship quality striker. Or Priso can just carry on his awesome development so far and go and grab another hat-trick like he did a few weeks ago. Cool finds Tom Field, who made his debut for Ireland recently after being watched by, I forget who the England manager is, I think it's still Gareth Southgate. So England were actually tempted to give him a cap just to stop Ireland calling him up, but in the end didn't, and he's now made his Ireland debut. It's not bad for a lad who's certainly not our first choice left back, but perhaps he's better than we thought he was. Unfortunately, we are 1-0 down after 2 minutes. Tom Field is the closest man to their player who scored, so yeah, he's not that great, is he? If we go 2-0 down after 7 minutes, I'm close to being out of ideas. It's horrible when it gets to this point. It is. I don't know if it's just the poorliness setting in, or whether we are actually reaching that fateful point. And I remember mentioning it to you that I'd say it at some point, but I can't remember what the reward for spotting it was. But I'm going to say it anyway. Are we reaching that point where we've taken Southend as far as we can? There you go. Cliche bingo's back, everybody. Back for the Christmas holiday period. It's starting to feel a little bit like that. We've got no money to spend. We're sat here in January. We've had a fantastic start to the season. What we really need to be able to do is strengthen the squad in a few key positions to solidify a spot in the upper sort of half of the division. And we're not in a position to do that, despite the fact we regularly sell out our ground. We're playing absolutely out of our skin. It's the best squad this club has had for 15, 20 seasons, I imagine. I don't know the ins and outs of the history of Southend, but it's a long time in real life since they've been a upper table force in the Championship, surely. And it just feels like, we might have maxed this out. And just looking around us in the league, look at those clubs around us: Leeds, Everton, Wigan, Watford, Coventry, Hull. You go 3 places above, 3 places below, they're all bigger clubs than we are. They're all teams that have bigger stadiums, get bigger attendances, have got more money to spend. I mean, the likes of Leeds, Everton, Watford particularly, they're Premier League clubs playing below themselves in the Championship. We're a League One club playing above ourselves. Is it time to try and engineer a move towards one of these bigger clubs where we can have that little bit of extra money to spend to let us push on and pick up a club that we can take on in the Championship, similar to how we did with Ipswich last year, and build them into a Premier League team? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on that are, because I'm starting to think we might have to jump before we're pushed. We're 2-0 down now against one of the worst teams in the division. Oh, I'm getting hot. There's a hot flush coming on as well. Oh, and I need to cough. It's all going wrong. Oh, I'm almost as red in the face as my hat after that coughing fit I've just had. Oh, this is ridiculous. How do people wear hats indoors normally? I'm not even properly indoors. I'm out in my garage. Priso has just scored a goal. We're back in this. The shining light, the ray of hope. What we need is a couple more of the youngsters to shine through as a ray of hope, to give me that reason to want to stick around at Southend. If it looks like we've got a good crop of youngsters who could become Premier League players starting to drift through into the first team, then that's really tempting to stick around and see that through. But unfortunately, what I think we've got is a squad built around the players who've been the core of the team for the last 3 seasons. The likes of Jackson, Benteke, Taylor Crossdale. They're never going to be Premier League players. They're excellent players at the level they've been playing at. But they're probably finding their level now. And we've got to overhaul the entire squad to push on to that next level. And I don't know if we've got the financial oomph to have a squad overhaul. I mean, look, we've had to bring on Anthony Wordsworth there. We're a goal down with 20 minutes to go against a team we should be able to beat. And our solution is to bring on a player who was coming towards the end of his career in the lower half of League Two, and no one was banging down the door to get a hold of him. And we're bringing him on 3 years later in the Championship, hoping that he's going to turn a game around. Oh, it's a tricky one. Let me know in the comments. Am I just being a negative Nelly because I'm all poorly, so I'm having a grumble about the football team? I've just bought a shirt for this lot. I should be happy. Or is it time to move on and build up to bigger? We could go abroad even. I mean, we've got all these leagues turned on. There's nothing in the rules that says we have to stay in this division, in this country, sorry. There's bags of money knocking around in the old Kev bank account now after relative amounts of success. He's on sort of £2,000 a week now. I think that's enough. If we can get a significant pay rise on that, there's no reason why we can't go globe trotting and have a little look around, see what we can find on across Europe maybe. Taylor Crossdale's just scored though, and I can't even celebrate because I'm going to cough. Oh, there you go. I was all negative, but now we're back in it. We've got 7 minutes left on the clock. Taylor Crossdale scored a goal in the Championship from open play for the first time. We've got a chance to grab victory from the jaws of defeat, push ourselves back almost into a playoff spot, and prove that I'm just being a big negative bear today for no reason. But Reading are going to score, and they haven't. Hurrah! 2-2. It's not the end of the world. It's not the win we were looking for, but at least we've stopped the run of consecutive defeats. And looking on the bright side, as a newly promoted club off the back of back-to-back promotions, we're still only 4 points outside the playoffs, over halfway into the season. And we're, 15 points clear of relegation? It's still being a good season, isn't it, really? If you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.